There are all kinds of exotic seafoods here. I see huge cuttlefish, all kinds of different colorful lobster. I see a lot of puffer fish. I don't think we're gonna be eating puffer fish.
Kawaii.
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 Oh, wow, got the camera a little bit wet. Whoa! So the vendors are super friendly here. They're letting us check out all their different seafoods. And check this thing out. I guess the name in English we looked up is Melo Melo. It's a type of, looks like a conch. Look at that, it's like the size of my head.
How heavy was that?
That's gotta be at least 5 or 6 pounds. So that thing is super cool. I've never seen one of those in my whole life. Apparently the Chinese translation actually calls it a papaya snail because it sort of looks like a papaya, but in the Philippines apparently they call it a coconut snail. I've definitely never seen one of those before. So check out this lobster here. He's a little guy but quite blue on the back here. I think this is a rock lobster, I believe. This is a local type of lobster. Ooh. Oh. So there's some things here like this horseshoe crab that maybe you shouldn't eat. I'm not sure if these are endangered or what, but we're definitely not going to be eating this guy. But this is just crazy to see. Look at that. Whoa.
He's got a crazy tail. What an amazing specimen.
Wow, that is crazy. What do you think, Sabrina?
I think this market is really incredible. There are a lot of things here that I've never actually seen at another fish market in Taiwan. So these cuttlefish in particular are really fascinating. The way they swim, they kind of look like squids. They're really interesting to watch.
It's almost like an aquarium.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So this is the stall we're going to be buying it from. Robert's helping us do a little bit of bargaining, and I think we're gonna get a lobster. So now we are picking out our fish. Looks like they have a couple of different kinds. So we just bought all our different seafoods. We got 3 different kinds. We got a red snapper, I believe. It's a type of fish, and also a type of Taiwanese lobster and some clams and oysters too. So the total price for the seafood was about 2,500. So we're gonna take it to the kitchen now and watch them prepare. Just watched the chef preparing the different seafoods that we ordered, and man, he worked really fast. It looks like it's gonna be really good. So some of our dishes have already been prepared while we were watching him cook, so let's start eating. So we're sitting down at the restaurant. This restaurant is just across the street from the actual fish market. They brought our fresh seafood over here and started preparing. A few of our dishes have arrived. We're sitting at these big round tables, and let me introduce what we've got on the table now. So the first dish here is the stir-fried clams. Tons of basil, a little bit of chili, and probably some garlic. Oh yeah, definitely some garlic hiding in there. That is a ton of clams. Over here we've got the lobster that we bought. It almost looks like a miso soup. I don't really know what the broth is, but you can see that this is the head of the actual lobster, and then some pieces of tofu in there. And yeah, I think it is miso. It smells really nice. Over here we've got the oysters that have been prepared in a sauce. It looks like a bean sauce, and then once again with tofus, looks like some leeks and you can see those big juicy oysters in there. So the second half of our lobster has arrived. This is the lobster tail. So you can see this has been steamed. There looks like a ton of meat on there, and it looks like some chopped green onions on the top, and then in a little bit of like a soy sauce underneath, and that just looks like some really juicy lobster. So we are still waiting for our fish to arrive, our steamed fish, but I'm gonna sample some of these clams. You can see that is a big, juicy looking clam with a ton of basil, so let's try that. Just quickly stir-fried, really strong flavor of basil because I got a big piece there. On the clam, just a light kind of seafood flavor, but very juicy and not salty whatsoever. That's good. Next up, I'm going to try the miso lobster soup. Check that out. Nice, brilliant red lobster in there. Looks like all the legs and some tofu. I'm gonna get a little bit of lag, get some more soup, and let's try that. Let's just sample the broth first here. Oh yeah, yeah, that's a nice little miso with sort of a seafood infused flavor. And let's try the lobster meat. Let me try to break one of these open, and you can see, look at that. Wow, perfect little lobster crab nugget. Let's try that.
Oh, what?
Lobster crab nugget? What did I call it?
A lobster crab nugget.
I don't know why I call that a lobster crab nugget. Lobster lag nugget. That is definitely the sweetest part. So the next dish is the oyster dish. This is with some black beans. You can see them kind of hiding in there. I'm gonna put this all over top of my rice, and it's swimming in that sauce. This looks like it's gonna be really good. That is phenomenal. You can definitely taste a little bit of that bean sort of sweetness. There's quite a bit of garlic in there as well. Those oysters are kind of just saturated with the flavor of that sauce, but that goes really nicely with a little bit of white rice. Just check out that massive piece of garlic on there and some juicy looking oysters. Oh man, this is a feast. So this is definitely what I've been waiting for the whole time. This really muscular, meaty looking lobster. There is huge chunks, and I'm gonna make sure I get that nice and coated in sauce. Let's try that. Oh wow. That is spectacular. That has definitely a bite to it. It's quite firm, yet at the same time, it is very juicy and saturated with that sauce. That bite was absolutely massive. There is a lot of meat on this tail, and I didn't really get any green onions, but let's go in for one more bite. I just can't resist. This is what I came here for. Let's try this. Wow. So our steamed fish has arrived. I believe this is a red snapper. There is a ton of green onions, a little bit of carrot on top, and look at the meat underneath there. Wow. That feels very, very delicate in my chopsticks. So I'm gonna try not to destroy it. Don't wanna take all the green onions there. Very delicate texture, just completely falls apart in your mouth. And a very subtle flavor once again. None of these dishes are very overpowering. There's a little bit of a ginger flavor going on there, and lots of green onions. That has a really nice texture. They definitely steamed that to perfection. And there's quite a bit of meat hiding underneath there too. Oh, this is such a good meal, guys. Oh, and no round table seafood dinner in Taiwan is complete without this apple cider. It goes really well. Surprisingly, I'm not a big pop drinker, but this stuff is good. Oh, that fish is awesome.